everyone, and thanks once again for tuning in to Smash Factor TV. My name is Natalie Adams. So today we're going to have a look at where the toe of your golf club should be pointing on your backswing. Okay, and this will really help you if you're someone that struggles with directional control, because if we get the toe of the club pointing in the right position during that backswing, then you're going to find you've got a lot more control over the club face, especially as you go through impact, which will obviously lead to straighter shots. So what we want to work on doing is, if you take your setup, okay, and we've got the hands on, we've got a good athletic posture here, and as you take the club away, we want to really work on turning the core. So we're turning the core to the right. And if we stop in this position here, where we've got the hands just about hip high, the toe of the club at this point should be slightly down towards the floor, okay? What we don't want to do when you're swinging the club back is to really rotate the arms over. So now we've got the toe of the club much higher up and more directly up. So the grooves on the club face in this position will look quite vertically up towards the sky, and that club face has opened up in that situation. So we're going to turn the core. And as you turn the core, we're going to make sure that the club face maintains a position where it's pointing downwards to the target line. So at this point here, we want the toe, as I'm looking here, we want the toe on the left of the shaft and the hosel. We don't want it rotated up so that it's vertically up above the top of the shaft. Similarly, what you don't want to do when you're swinging back as you're rotating your core around is twist the club face so that it goes absolutely down to the floor, and that would give you quite a horizontal look in the grooves on the club face at that point. So if we take the club back and you rotate the toe upwards, that's opening the club face up, which would tend to give you shots going out to the right, or they'd have a left to right curvature on. If we turn the toe downwards to the floor too much, so we get more of a horizontal look in the grooves, that's going to give you shots, because the club face is closed, so that's going to give you shots that would go to the left, or that would move right to left in the air more. So what we want to do is work on getting the club face so that the grooves are about a 45-degree angle. I mean, ideally, this will depend on your height and therefore your posture, because you're just trying to mimic really your spine angle with that club face position. But the best thing to do is to work on turn the core and then get that club face pointing down to where the target line would be, and that will give you about a 45-degree look. So the toe does look slightly to the left of the heel and the shaft position as you take that club back. A good tip there would be you get an alignment tool that'll just, it's got a magnet in it and it'll just stick onto the club face, so that as you swing back, if you had an alignment pole on the floor, just basically keep the, the alignment tool pointing downwards towards the alignment pole and the target line on the floor. If you haven't got that, if you just take some blue tack, just a lump of blue tack or kind of plasticine, that kind of thing, put it onto the club face and then just stick a long T-peg out from that. So basically you're just creating a right angle with the leading edge there, and again you can do the same thing and you'd be able to see where it's pointing. Okay, once we've got that initial position there, so we've made that takeaway, we've got the toe slightly down towards the floor. Again, what we don't want to do now is rotate that toe completely upwards and to the right of the shaft. From that takeaway position, we now want to work on keeping that club face pointing downwards towards the target line, so that when we get to the top of the backswing, we're creating more of this angle with the club rather than this position here with the club. Again, that would lead to a very open club face. and you're going to have directional issues from there. So work on those key points with the toe of the club. On the takeaway, we want to make sure that we've got the toe of the club to the left of the shaft, the club face is pointing downwards towards the target line, and then we want to maintain that as we swing back. So we want to keep the toe of the club feeling just to the left as you're looking at the shaft here as you swing back into position. That'll give us a nice flat left wrist at the top of the golf swing. And if we've got that nice flat left hand and left wrist position, that's going to really help us start the downswing from a great position where you have got control of that club face and you're not having to fight with the club face on the downswing, trying to get it back to a neutral position as you're hitting through. Have a go at that. Like I said, try with the alignment tool or with the just the T-peg and the blue tack on. It'll really help you to see where you've got that club face aiming. But if you can get more control of that club face and start to feel more comfortable with how the hands and the body feels when you're doing that, it really will help you to hit a lot straighter. It's a game-changing golf tip.